Okay, all set.
All right, terrific. Good evening, everyone. Trustees, thank you very much for attending. I know we also have our full staff here, Clerk Burns, as well as a lot of people from Pillars. So thank you all for attending. Tonight's meeting is being conducted virtually as a result of Governor Pritzker's emergency COVID-19 actions to ease the standards for Municipal Open Meetings Act as a result of these unusual and difficult circumstances. Hopefully, the numbers will continue to improve, and this will be our last virtual meeting, and we'll go back to meeting live in the near future. But for today, it was not practical or prudent to host an in-person meeting at this time. This meeting is being broadcast on cable television, YouTube, Facebook, and will also be posted to the village website. At 7:31, I'd ask that the meeting be called to order and that Clerk Burns call the roll.
Certainly. Trustee Augustine.
Here.
Trustee Gale.
Here.
Trustee Holzer.
Here.
Trustee Kotinek.
Here.
Trustee McCarty.
Here.
Trustee McGee.
Here.
And President Kukler.
Here. Thank you all. Also present from the village's side, we have Village Attorney Mark Berklin, Village Manager Peterson, Public Works Director Gillingham, Community Development Director Jones, Finance Director Cipriani, Acting Police Chief Dave Orelichek, and Fire Chief Vavra. I would just ask and remind all speakers to please say their name before speaking, as the meeting is being held virtually. Also, if you're not speaking, if you can mute your speakers to help ensure the quality of the recording. Members from the public wishing to speak during the public comment periods are asked to indicate their interest using the chat feature and wait to be prompted at the proper time. At this time, I would like to begin my president's report, a very exciting recognition, and that is to recognize the Citizens Council for 80-year anniversary of their founding. And I'm trying to see on my screen, well, we got Tim here, so terrific. We have Tim Bork from the Citizens Council here to hear our proclamation or resolution, I should say. And so let me read it for the record. Whereas in January 1941, the LaGrange Citizens Council was formed in LaGrange, Illinois. And whereas the council was formed under their first chairperson, Kenneth E. Rice. And whereas the council determined that it would be nonpartisan, neither supporting nor opposing any political party or individual candidate based on party affiliation. And whereas the council continues today as a nonpartisan organization that encourages informed and active participation in government, works to increase understanding of local government functions, and advocates for residents to become involved. And whereas the council, among other activities, has sought to educate themselves and residents by inviting knowledgeable speakers from the community and local government, holding candidate forums, evaluating candidates, and endorsing candidates that are best qualified. And whereas the council seeks to maintain a membership that is diverse and representative of the residents of the village, and whereas the council is a community volunteer organization that seeks to foster an engaged community that is active at the local level and to engage residents in decisions that impact their lives. And whereas the council will celebrate its 80th anniversary in January of 2021. And now, therefore, again, if we pass it, which I'm sure we will, be resolved by the President of the Board of Trustees of the Village of LaGrange, Cook County, State of Illinois, that the Village of LaGrange recognizes the LaGrange Citizen Council and supports its vision of a community where every person has the desire, the right, the knowledge, and the confidence to participate in their community. And before I go on to see if Tim has a few words, I do want to read a letter from former trustee Nancy Kenny. Nancy asked me to share her words. Congratulations to the Citizens Council of LaGrange on its 80th birthday. It's one of the few things older than I in this town. It has consistently recommended the best qualified candidates for the village's library, park, and village boards based on the candidate's qualifications and fitness for office, not political party. In this process, it has also striven to keep LaGrange residents informed of local issues of importance to the village. As a historic note, one of the original members of the Citizens Council was Jean Cossett Miles, the great-grandmother of trustee Beth Augustin. Again, congratulations to a fine local organization for its leadership and longevity in the village of LaGrange. Nancy Kenny. So, Tim, do you have any words you'd like to add, or am I putting you on the spot? Or Tim Bork? Why don't we move on? And I'd ask if any trustees have any comments before I have Clerk Burns call a roll. Dave McCarty.
It's Dave McCarty speaking. I'd just like to endorse the concept of the LaGrange Commission. They've done a great job. And as someone who didn't grow up in LaGrange and didn't realize that politics could function better, it was very nice to learn how they worked and the importance of this. And especially when you look at some of the neighboring villages and you see political fights going on, it's not always Republican, Democrat. Worse, sometimes it's neighbor against neighbor. And I think this is an important consideration that they do that really helps keep LaGrange focused on what's best for the village and not about personalities. Thanks a lot for what you guys do.
Thank you, Trustee McCarty. I see John Burns has his microphone on. John, did you want to say something?
Well, I just wanted to echo Dave's comments and the thoughts that are conveyed both by Nancy Kenny and in the resolution. I mean, this is kind of a unique organization. Like Dave, I didn't grow up in Grange, but I've been here 30 plus years. And there's a lot of knowledge to be gained from participating in these meetings, these kind of public meetings that are nonpartisan. So you really get to meet neighbors, whether they're in your particular neighborhood or not, but neighbors throughout the range, and you get an exchange of ideas. But everyone's looking for the same thing, to get qualified candidates to fill these important roles. So again, Tim and the Citizens Council, Beth as a past president, congratulations. Thank you for a job excellently done.
Well said, John. Thank you very much. Beth, Trustee Augustine, I think he has a comment.
Sure, thanks. And thank you, John, for saying that, and Dave, and to Nancy Kenny for writing that nice letter and slightly embarrassing me. It really is a terrific group. Was very proud to be a member of it, and LaGrange is, as you've all said, lucky to have a group like that that helps us see viewpoints objectively in a way that is also educating us at the same time. So I hope to see it grow and continue for another 80, 180 years. Do our best in this village to keep it going. And thank you, Tim. I hope you can hear us and maybe say a few words.
Trustee Holder, I think, has a comment, and then we'll go to Tim.
I'll be very short and just echo what those before me have said. And it's just how refreshing it is to have a group of citizens who care more about their village than their political party, who care more about helping people that may not have time to vet all the candidates to do that for them, and who care more about the future of LaGrange It's just delightful. I hope more and more people join the Citizens Council. They're always in need of members because they try to get members from all over the village. So if you have time and you care about LaGrange also, please join Tim and his band of very, very wonderful people.
Thank you, Trustee Holder. I couldn't agree more. And Tim, if you could just share a few comments.
Yes, sorry, I cut out there a bit. I apologize, but I'm sure the people that spoke before me really have said everything I could possibly say, except I want to thank the trustees in the village on behalf of all the current members and past members for this resolution. It's quite an honor to receive this and such a great gesture by the village. You know, like Trustee Holder said, we're always looking for new members, and it's a great organization in that it accepts everyone. Only requirement is that you live in the village. So I would encourage anybody who's watching to come and join us at our next meeting in February. And it's an exciting time with some new elections coming up in April. So thank you again to the trustees and to the village. We really appreciate this resolution.
Hey, Tim, before you go, could you just say what date in February the next meeting is, or how generally they meet and where?
So the meeting is every second Wednesday. So the next meeting is going to be February 10th. It's at 7:30. We tend to try to do it in person, or we do have a remote option. It just depends on what the village's preferences. Lately, the last 2 months, we've been doing it remotely at the request of the village and with the state guidelines of meeting remotely. So.
And if any residents had any questions, they can go on, is it your webpage or Facebook page?
Yes, both. You can go to either Facebook or our website, lgcitizenscouncil.com. And I also want one more plug. We're going to have a candidates forum on March 10th as well. And we're finalizing those details. So please watch for that to come as well.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Kukler.
Absolutely. At this time, I'd ask for a trustee to move for the resolution and a second.
McCarty moves.
Moving. And Trustee
Kotinick, second.
Augustine.
Move second.
Okay. And if John Burns could call a vote.
My pleasure. Trustee McGee,
Aye.
Trustee Kotinick.
Aye.
Trustee Holder,
Aye.
Trustee Gale,
Aye.
Trustee Augustine,
Aye.
and Trustee McCarty.
Aye.
And the resolution passes unanimously. Thank you all very much. Moving on, we have two appointments to consider for the Environmental Quality Commission. Both are very well qualified and are eager to participate. We're going to handle these separately because they need to be voted on separately. The first is I submit the appointment of Molly Mahoney for your board approval. Ms. Mahoney resides at 301 South 7th Avenue and has indicated her willingness to serve as a member of the Environmental Quality Commission for a term that would expire in 2023. Again, I recommend her approval and would ask for a motion and a second.
Kotinick, I make the motion to approve Molly Mahoney to be appointed to the EQC.
Holder seconds.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Kotinick and Trustee Holder. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, I would ask Clerk Burns to conduct a vote.
My pleasure. Trustee Gale,
Aye.
Trustee Augustine,
Aye.
Trustee McGee,
Aye.
Trustee McCarty,
Aye.
Trustee Holder,
Aye.
Trustee Kotinick.
Aye.
There you have it. Unanimous,
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Thank you. And that passes unanimously. In addition, I have submitted for appointment, the appointment of Jana Savek for board's approval. Ms. Savek resides at 628 9th Avenue and has indicated her willingness to serve as a member of the Environmental Quality Commission for a term that also expires in 2023. At this time, I would ask for a motion and a second.
Kotinik, I'll make the motion to approve the appointment of Janice Speck to the EQC.
McCarty, second.
Thank you, trustees Kotinik and McCarty. Any discussion regarding Ms. Speck? Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
I wasn't
no,
sure.
no, I have no question. Nope.
Okay. Then I'm going to ask Clerk Burns to conduct a roll call vote.
Certainly. Trustee Augustine,
Aye.
Trustee Gale,
Aye.
Trustee Holder,
Aye.
Trustee McGee,
Aye.
Trustee McCarty,
Aye.
Trustee Kotinik.
Aye.
And there you have it. Unanimous, Mr. President.
Thank you, Clerk Burns. Again, for the record, it's been unanimously passed, and we're lucky to have both Ms. Mahoney and Ms. Speck volunteering for service. I do appreciate it. Continuing on, again, has been the case for the last many, many months. We have to discuss COVID-19. A little better news this time. On Saturday, January 23rd, the Illinois Department of Public Health announced that our area, Region 10, suburban Cook County, moved from Tier 2 to Tier 1 due to the resurgence mitigations. Under Tier 1 mitigations, restaurants may resume indoor dining at a lesser of 25 guests or 25% capacity per room. Reservations are required, and indoor food service is limited to a 2-hour maximum and 4 persons per party. Dining only with members of the same household is recommended. In order to move to phase 4 of the Restore Illinois plan, a region must meet certain metrics, including a test positivity rate of less than or equal to 6.5% for 3 consecutive days. In our hopes to get there, I continue to urge all residents to continue to follow the health guidelines, which include wearing a mask, washing your hands, and keeping social distance. Public health officials are continuing to carefully monitor the metrics, and we all need to work together to avoid regressing back to more restrictive mitigation tiers and to move forward for less restrictions. Public health officials our businesses appreciate the strong support that they have received, and I encourage you to continue to shop and dine locally in LaGrange. In addition to the indoor dining, curbside pickup and delivery services continue to be available. The village is also continuing to advocate for our business community. I recently met with Congresswoman Marie Newman to discuss opportunities to assist small businesses and develop a small business committee so that she can hear directly from businesses about ongoing challenges that they are facing. Congressman Newman is very interested in doing what she can to help our local businesses. Governor Pritzker has announced that the state will move into early stages of phase 1B of the COVID-19 vaccine administration plan beginning today. Phase 1B will expand vaccines to non-healthcare frontline essential workers and residents age 65 and over. Vaccine availability continues to be limited, and health officials have requested patience as more vaccines become available. For more information regarding vaccines, please visit the Illinois Department of Public Health and the Cook County Department of Public Health. In addition, for more information, there are links to the state and county websites are available on our webpage, www.lagrangeil.gov. In addition, we'll be hearing from Pillars about their plans regarding the vaccine. At this time, I'd ask Trustee Holder if he could provide a report from LaGrange Hospital.
Certainly. Thank you, Mark. The numbers have improved in our area, as you heard, and the governor's taken that action. And I'm very, very pleased to say that the numbers at LaGrange Hospital have improved also. We're down to only 18 people who have are positive for COVID, 6 more that are under investigation right now, under observation right now. But if you remember the last time I was speaking about this, the number was significantly higher. So very pleased at what we're seeing. Very pleased to say that LaGrange and Hinsdale are part of the rollout of Phase 1B. That is, and that began today, as you noted, Mark. So please, everybody, if you would, please use the village website to register. Please get your vaccination. Make sure you get your second vaccination. Amita has vaccinated thousands of their associates, their healthcare workers. There has been no issue whatsoever. And as the papers have done their best to highlight, there are no follow-on effects from this with regard to what it might do in your body because of how it's constructed. So please, everybody, register, get the vaccination, and until you do get your second round of vaccination, please be smart. As President Kukler just said, please mask up, wash up, and maintain the distance so that we can help nip this, or I shouldn't say nip this, stop this pandemic from spreading any further. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Trustee Holder. And again, I know that LaGrange Hospital is open, both their emergency room and all scheduled procedures. So don't delay care at this time. There's doctors available for any treatment that you would require. The village is continuing to finalize its budget development process for fiscal year 2021-2022, which begins on May 1st. We're going to be conducting a capital projects workshop on February 8th. There's also going to be a budget workshop on operational expenses scheduled for Saturday, March 13th, beginning at 8 a.m. The draft budget document will be available at the Village Hall and Library and posted along with the village manager's message on the village's website in advance of the meeting. We invite everyone to attend and participate in the budget discussion. It's an important document that guidelines our decision-making throughout the upcoming year and planning over a 5-year period. The way we do our budget and is recorded in the document is we look at not just the coming year, but going forward for the next 5 years. And again, that allows us to do proper planning. The LGBA has been very active. They have announced 2 promotions recently. First is called Chill Out and Chill In. It's going to be a 5-week promotion that features virtual and in-person events to warm up the winter at home. It will include Takeout Tuesdays, where local foodies are invited to cook like a chef with take-home food kits and online classes with simple techniques and tips to make meals extra special and much more. Secondly, the LaGrange Restaurant Week will be held Friday, February 19th through Sunday, February 28th. It is designed to entice customers to try different dining experiences and meals in LaGrange. Participating restaurants will offer special value-priced menus in addition to regular menus during those dates. And again, we expect that it will be available for dine-in in a limited capacity, as well as for delivery or curbside pickup. For more information regarding these promotions and special events, always check the LGBA's website at www.lgba.com. At this time, I'd ask Village Manager Peterson if we have a manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last day to accept voter registration or transfers of registration for the April 6th, 2021 consolidated election is Tuesday, May 9th by mail and Sunday, March 21st online. Early voting will take place from March 22nd to April 5th, and April 1st is the last day to apply for a ballot by mail. For additional information, please visit the village website or the Cook County Clerk's Office at www.cookcountyclerkil.gov. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manager Peterson. At this time, I'd ask Clerk Burns to read the items on the consent portion of the agenda.
Certainly. Matters on the consent agenda will be considered by a single motion and vote because they have already been fully considered by the board at a previous meeting or have been determined to be of a routine nature. Any member of the Board of Trustees may request that an item be moved from the consent agenda to current business for separate consideration. With that, there are a few items on the consent agenda. Item A, agreement, Police Department Consulting Services. Item B, minutes of the Village of Grange Village Board of Trustees regular meeting, Monday, December 14th, 2020. Item C, consolidated voucher 201228. Item D, consolidated voucher 210111. And item E, consolidated voucher 210125.
Thank you, Clerk Burns. Could you also read if there's anything under the current business section?
Yes, certainly. There is one item under current business, and that is a request for temporary use approval, 27 Callender Avenue, Pillars Community Health.
Thank you, Clerk Burns. Manager Peterson, has there been any public comments submitted regarding items on the agenda?
No comments were received, Mr. President.
And does do we have anybody in attendance that was hoping to speak on any items that are on the agenda, the consent agenda? Seeing none.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
One second, before we move for that, actually, why don't we, Trustee Holder's moved, and if we can get a second.
Anybody?
Trustee Augustine, I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Augustine, second, and then Trustee Augustine, I know you have to recuse yourself.
Yes, thank you, President Kukler. As I previously stated, I recuse myself on voting any agenda items related to our village prosecutor.
Thank you. Clerk Burns, if you could call a roll, or is there any discussion? I apologize. Any discussion on any of the items on the consent agenda?
President Kukler, I have a comment or a question.
Thank you.
So actually, it'd be for Andre, just regarding the consulting services for the police department. Just in looking at the compensation, the hourly rate, I have no sense for what that should or shouldn't be. As an attorney, it looks very reasonable, very moderate. I'm just wondering, how was that arrived at? If you know, or what is the going rate?
Sure. I'm not sure that there's really a going rate. It was a negotiated discussion with the consultant, and it was derived because it is a rate that's actually less than the full-time rate that he was receiving. So it was a negotiated rate.
Okay. All right. Thanks. That's it.
Any other comments? At this time, I would ask Clerk Burns to conduct a roll call vote.
Certainly. Trustee McGee,
Aye.
thank you. Trustee McCarty,
Aye.
trustee Katina,
Aye.
trustee Gale,
Aye.
trustee Holder,
Aye.
trustee Augustine.
Aye.
Unanimous,
And
Mr. President.
Thank you, Clerk Burns, and the consent items pass unanimously. Moving on to current businesses, we do have a request for temporary use approval at 27 calendar, and I know that we have several representatives from Pillars here, but I'd ask Trustee Augustine to introduce this item for the board's consideration.
Thank you, President Kukler. I'd be happy to. This is a request, as noted, request for temporary use approval on 27 Calendar Avenue by Pillars Community Health. Pillars Community Health, known as Pillars, has requested approval to temporarily operate a medical clinic on the first floor of a building that they own at 27 Calendar Avenue in order to administer COVID-19 vaccines. The first floor of 27 Calendar Avenue is currently vacant and zoned commercial. It previously operated as a resale furniture shop. As detailed in the attached letter, Pillars is a federally qualified health center. The state of Illinois' COVID-19 vaccination plan notes that in order to establish an adequate network of trained vaccination providers, the Illinois Department of Public Health will focus on facilitating vaccine administration through local health departments, hospitals, FQHCs, and pharmacies. Pillars notes in their letter that they have completed all the necessary registrations with the state and county to become a vaccination site. Pillars also asserts that they have experience administering vaccines, as they annually provide routine vaccinations for children as well as flu shots. The proposed vaccine clinic would consist of one 4-hour operating window period per day, each on Monday through Saturday. On Monday through Friday, that operating window would be between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. On Saturday, that operating window would be 8 a.m. to noon. Persons receiving a vaccine would be scheduled by appointment. Upon arrival, people would check in, receive the vaccine, and then remain for 15 to 30 minutes for observation of any adverse side effects. There would be up to 12 persons receiving the vaccine on site at any time, and up to 10 Pillars staff or volunteers administering the program. Pillars is seeking approval to operate the proposed temporary use for an initial 90-day period, with the possibility to extend that approval based on ongoing need and ongoing appropriate authority to administer vaccines. Section 9103C of the zoning code provides a list of permitted temporary uses such as yard sales, Christmas tree sales, carnivals, contractors' offices, and construction sites, and outdoor dining. These uses can be approved administratively by the village manager. Section 9103C also includes an other temporary uses category, which allows for other temporary uses that are consistent with the purposes and intent of Section 9103 and of the zoning district in which the use is located. Per the zoning code, any other temporary use requires approval by the Village Board of Trustees. Pillars building at 27 Calendar Avenue is located in the core of the C1 Central Commercial Zoning District. Medical offices and clinics are prohibited on the first floor. The purpose of the C1 district is to provide for the development and maintenance of a concentrated pedestrian-oriented commercial shopping center with special provisions protecting, in the core of that district, the retail environment at street level. In the attached letter, Pillars notes that due to the exceptional condition of a worldwide pandemic, the proposed temporary use will assist in hastening a return to normal conditions, therefore supporting the purpose of the C1 district. Section 9103E and the zoning code lists limitations for all temporary uses, which are addressed in the attached letter from Pillars. If the board finds that the proposed temporary use as described herein and in the attached request letter is acceptable, staff would recommend the following conditions of approval. 1, the first floor commercial space will be used solely for the purpose of administering COVID-19 vaccines as a result of a need for additional facility space during the unprecedented public health pandemic. 2, the temporary use is granted for an initial period of 90 days. Upon expiration of the initial approval period, the village manager may grant up to 4 extensions of no more than 30 days each. At all times, Pillars Community Health must operate the clinic in compliance with all county, state, and federal requirements, guidance, and best practices, including any necessary licenses, agreements, or other permits. 4, the building shall comply with all safety, life safety, and occupancy requirements. An occupancy inspection is required prior to operation. 5, the village reserves the right to evaluate parking and traffic impacts of the temporary use at any time and require modifications to operations as necessary to ensure there is no adverse parking or traffic impacts to the central business district. And 6, all temporary signage must comply with the size and placement requirements of the zoning code and may remain displayed for the duration of the temporary use. Representatives from Pillars Community Health are in attendance tonight, and they're here to answer any questions that we may have. Thank you for coming. Mr.
And
President.
thank you, Trustee Augustine.
Welcome.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. I appreciate that. At this time, I would ask if there's a motion and a second.
I'll make the motion to grant temporary use of 27 Calendar Avenue by Pillars Community Health. Kotinek.
Holder will second.
Thank you, Trustee. Thank you, Trustee Holder, for seconding. Angela Curran, the director of Pillars, I know is here. Ms. Curran, do you want to address the board? Angela, you're on mute.
Here we go. Sorry about that. I had to switch computers at the last minute. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Angela Curran. I'm the CEO of Pillars Community Health. I've also been a resident of LaGrange for 23 years. With me tonight, in case you had some of the more clinical questions that I don't have a license to answer, I have Dr. Kisti Catalano with us. She's our Chief Medical Officer and has been for 5.5 years and has been in community health for about 20 years. And Linda Stevens is also on the call. She is our Director of Nursing and our vaccine administrator. I think it's wonderful that you gave a resolution to the Citizens Council for being in existence for 80 years. On January 27th, we will be celebrating our 100th anniversary of serving this community through many predecessor organizations. Pillars Community Health is the result of a merger that happened about 3 years ago between Community Nurse Health Center, which has been located on Calendar Avenue since 1917, and Pillars Community Services. We have done, actually the organization was formed shortly after the last pandemic, the Spanish flu, in 1919, and we were formed to really address the healthcare needs of the western suburbs, Western Cook County, because Cook County Health Department really didn't have a presence out in the western suburbs. As we said, we're asking for this temporary use permit to operate the COVID vaccine clinic at 27 Calendar. We have been addressing a lot of the issues that have arisen as a result of the pandemic since March of 2020. We are operating 3 different COVID testing sites. One we do COVID testing at our medical center at 108 110 across the street from this site. We also operate a testing site in Burbank and another testing site in Burr Ridge in partnership respectively with Stickney Township Public Health District and the DuPage Health Department, and have probably tested close to 9,000 individuals at this point. And that testing is available to everyone in the community who needs it. We are part of the state's Call for Calm text line where our mental health counselors are available to work with anyone in this area who calls that line who is in need of any kind of mental health service, particularly arising from any of the anxiety and depression, the isolation that's occurring as a result of this pandemic. We enhanced our medical and COVID triage services for the clients of bed and other persons experiencing homelessness throughout the service area. And we are currently leading an effort with 6 other community organizations as a grantee of the Cook County Department of Public Health on COVID outreach and education throughout the area. So those are just a couple of the things that we've been doing. And obviously the need now, and we did the COVID testing, I should say, in partnership with the Illinois Department of Public Health. So maintaining that partnership with our public health partners, we are looking to expand our capacity to do COVID vaccinations. We have partnered with Grange Hospital for years. We have a letter of support from the hospital as well, realizing that really in order for us to get people as vaccinated as quickly as possible, we need as many site alternatives as we can in the area. I'll just talk a little bit briefly about the property, and then if you have any questions of a clinical nature, I think you could ask them to Dr. Catalano or Ms. Stevens. So this property, we have already gone ahead and made all of the HVAC enhancements that would be necessary to use this space to do the vaccines. We have increased the air filtration, put in MERV filters, increased the air circulation. We have UV lights installed. We do meet all the fire and life safety requirements, so would be happy to work on the inspection. There would be a maximum of 4 vaccine stations in this vaccination clinic. So I did just want to correct one thing that Trustee Augustine had said. We will not be vaccinating 12 people at a time. We would be vaccinating 4 people at a time, about 12 per hour. There would be about 12 people at one time because we'd vaccinate. People have to wait and be observed for 15 minutes. You heard a little bit about the hours of operation. We have completed all of our registrations with the CDC, the Illinois Department of Public Health, all of our clinical staff and all of our clinical volunteers, and we have actually recruited nurses from the community. The LaGrange residency program will be working with us, and we also have some other doctors and dentists that we are awaiting for some guidance from the state on the kind of trainings that they will want them to do. Everyone will be wearing appropriate PPE. All of our providers who will administer the vaccine, as a federally qualified health center, all of our providers have to be appropriately credentialed and privileged. Dr. Catalano has signed, will be administering the Moderna vaccine, and Dr. Catalano has executed the appropriate Moderna standing orders. So all of the observation, storage, and handling requirements will be met under that standing order. And at any one time, we will have a maximum of 7 staff in that location. That would be a maximum of 4 people doing the vaccinations and 3 patient service representatives to greet and screen people, to work the observation area, and then to help check them out as well. I'll stop there to see if there's any questions.
President Kukler, I have a question, if I may.
Go ahead, Trustee Kotinik.
Great, thank you. Ms. Coran, Stevens, and Dr. Catalano, first off, thank you for your service and taking the initiative to move this forward with PCH. Really appreciate it. Just a couple quick questions. We talk about a 4-hour window. Just curious why only 4 hours per day? Second, you talk about, you've mentioned community and area several times. So when are these shots going to be available for LaGrange residents only, or is there a broader community around that will enable others to come as well? And then my third and final question, assuming that you get the approval today with the vote, when would this facility be up and running? And again, thank you for the service.
Sure. 4 hours because we feel that is what our bandwidth will enable us to do at this point. We don't want to completely shut down our testing operations, so we're really trying to balance those two COVID needs. Our catchment area consists of a larger area than LaGrange. This would be open to not only our patients. We have about 5,000 health center patients. We also serve about 5,000 other people through our mental health services and our domestic violence and sexual assault services. But this would also be open to other, I'll call them non-patients in the community. And our catchment area really stretches from the DuPage, the Cook-DuPage County Line Road on the west, over to Harlem Avenue on the east, down to about 87th Street, and up to as far north as Westchester. So that would be our catchment area. All of the testing sites, and this is part of our agreement with actually the Illinois Department of Public Health, is that all of these testing vaccinations have to be administered by an appointment schedule. So we would have people email us or call us to schedule appointments, and people would be eligible based on the eligibility, you've heard the phase 1A, phase 1B, phase 1C criteria that the state is using. I think I answered.
Yeah, thank you. And then the last one, going on the assumption that you're going to get unanimous approval to move forward today. What is the timeline for shots being administered?
We're ready to go as soon as we get the approval and the village inspections.
Great. Thank you again, Ms. Coran.
Any other trustee comments? Trustee Augustine.
Thank you, President Kukler, and thank you, Angela and the other representatives from Pillars. Your reputation precedes you. It's such a fantastic organization, and I think everybody in town knows about you, knows what you've done, and is, grateful for the service and that what you bring to our town and what you bring to the community, the people that you serve. It's an important organization. So I was not at all surprised to read through your thorough request. I had a lot of answers, or I had a lot of questions in my mind as I started to read it, and every single one was answered along the way. It looks very well laid out, and I'm happy for the area that we'll have something like this. We have a great hospital helping out. We have you, and the world needs as many of these places as we can get. I did have one question. I was just thinking about it before the meeting. You hear in the news every now and then that there are no-shows and there are extra doses. You've heard of people being lucky and then the Walgreens and hey, you want to, do you have a plan for that? Do you have a little short list for those who aren't eligible so that nothing gets wasted?
Yeah, and I can let Dr. Catalano address that.
Thank you.
So we have so as we were doing our 1A vaccination, this is Dr. Catalano, I'm the Chief Medical Officer at Pillars Community Health. So as we were doing our 1A, we always had a reserve list. So as we were calling to see if people were coming or it looked like people were no-showing, each day we had a reserve list of people that we could call and say, hey, can you come and get a vaccine? Because we don't want to waste any doses. And so then we would call people and they would show up, and so we wouldn't have any wasted doses. So far, we haven't had to waste any doses, and we're going to continue with this plan of having that reserve list, people that were scheduled the next day, or people that were scheduled out, have that wait list of patients that we can call so we're not wasting any doses.
Thank you, and thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. And Trustee Holder.
Actually, Beth asked my question, so all I'll do is second what everybody else has said. Thank you very much to Pillars its predecessors and to its future. What you do is filling an important need in this community. And we're very, very grateful that you are here and as committed as you are.
Thank you. I mean, I think we see this as a way to give back to the community that supported us for 100 years as well. So it's really our privilege.
Thank you, Trustee Holder. I know Trustee McCarty has a comment or question.
Thank you, President Kukler. Mostly thank you to the pillars in the Community Health Nurse Association. I think your track record says it all. You've been operating in LaGrange for forever, and your current facility operates smoothly, and the testing operations have posed no issues. I think it's a great idea, a great concept, and something that we just, LaGrange is so lucky to have this organization. And then one other comment I'd like to make to the board in general is the very idea that we have a need here to do this as a special use. One of my ongoing campaigns in the zoning is that we should not have a restriction on medical use in the first floor. I think it should be considered in our next round of zoning changes. People in the downtown are people in the downtown, and when people come from the doctor, they're hungry, they need to get food. People who work in those offices need to get food and need to shop. The general idea of a restriction of medical on the first floor is biased in two manners. One, that it's not a sales tax producing entity, and two, that people who come for medical help are not necessarily shoppers. I think those are both wrong. And I'd like us to reconsider that why we even have a prohibition against it when we have dark storefronts otherwise. But that's not your issue, Angela. But thank you for bringing it to our attention.
I have asked that question for 13 years, though.
You've got a friend in me on that.
Thank you, Trustee McCarty. Seeing no other trustee comments, I do want to thank Dr. Catalano and Ms. Stevens for coming today and answering our questions. Ms. Kern, thank you very much for presenting tonight and for reminding us of Pillars and its predecessors' 100th anniversary. We'll make sure that we do a proper recognition at our next meeting because it is such an important organization and obviously has done so much for the community. And obviously, I do want to thank everyone that's involved with Pillars, all the volunteers, all the employees for the critical services that are provided to our most vulnerable residents and our most vulnerable neighbors. So with that, I would ask Clerk Burns to call a roll call vote, please.
Certainly. Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
Trustee McCarty.
Aye.
Trustee McGee. Trustee McGee.
He looks
Trustee
frozen.
McGee, on and off on mute.
Okay.
Aye.
There
Thank
we
you.
go.
Trustee Holder.
Aye.
Trustee Katina.
Aye.
And you have it unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Clerk Burns, and as expected, it passed unanimously. Thank you again to everyone at Pillars. Village Manager Peterson, at this time, do we have any public comments on matters not on the agenda?
No comments were received, Mr. President.
Thank you. And before I go to trustee comments, I do want to recognize that Deputy Chief Wardlaw is also in attendance. We appreciate you attending tonight. Thank you, and thank you for your service. At this time, are there any trustee comments? I think Trustee McCarty is ready to go.
Oh, sorry.
Just keeping his
on.
microphone on.
Yep.
All right. Sorry to put you on the spot there. Trustee Augustine.
I'll just say thank you, President. I look forward to seeing all of us and you in person at our next meeting. Let's hope that we're all diligent with mask wearing and caution, and we get there. These meetings are important, and I think they're more fruitful in person, as we all would agree. And we hope to see you and anyone watching at our next meeting, if possible.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. I think that is everyone's goal. And again, we're a little bit limited by the governor. Right now, we're limited to 25 people. And my quick count, I think we have tonight 22. So we'll just have to be careful of that. Maybe there's a way, and we can have Attorney Birkeland advise us if we can do some virtual and some live, which may work out best for everybody. I don't know if Trustee or Attorney Birkeland's ready to comment tonight or if in the future. But.
Only to say that there are ways to work through it.
Okay, terrific. Well, we'll definitely be looking for your advice on how to do that. I think that'd be great if we could do that. That being said, are there any other trustee comments? Seeing none, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So
I'll
moved.
make the motion to adjourn the January 25th meeting. Kotinik.
Holder seconds.
Thank you, Trustee Kotinik and Trustee Holder. It is 8:27, and I would ask Clerk Burns for a voice vote on the motion to adjourn. Everybody else on mute.
Yes, all in favor of adjourning, please
Aye.
indicate.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. President Kukler, it's unanimous.
Thank you all, and I probably should have gave a shout out to our Public Works Director, Ryan Gillingham, who may not be sleeping tonight if as I look out my window and it continues to snow. So I appreciate all of the Public Works, all of our employees, but especially on these nights that the Public Works people will be working through the night to make our streets safe. So it's very much appreciated. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Right.
Be well. Take
Good night,
care.
everybody.
All right, everyone.